Hi guys, Masterpiece Beat here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. And today I'm going. Anyways, as I was saying, alright, forget about these noisy drums, and today I'm going to be showing you how you're going to make this drum sound great. Come closer. Yes, come closer. Let me show you something. I'm going to be teaching you how to mix your instrument the right way. Yes, the right way.
Alright guys, so I'm going to be showing you the process of how I did everything here, and so you get to learn. Just sit tight and watch what I'm going to be doing so you understand how I came about the result of having a good sounding mix of my instrument like this. So first of all, let's start with the kick. So on the kick, I used the SSL channel. So I needed the only byte around the 4K, that byte on the kick only on this specific channel. I was not looking for the low or anything. So I had to like cut off the whole, the low ends from there. So this is how it sounds with just the SSL channel. Sorry. So this is just the bite I was looking for from the kick in, because there was a lot of bleed on the recording, so I kind of like wanted to just get the highs from there, then I would know what to do with the low frequency on the other side of the kick. So then I used the F6 EQ. And on the F6, I kind of added the 4K still because it was not really biting the way I wanted. So this is it with the F6, and then it was kind of a dynamic EQ. So then I added the CLA 76 just to balance, to make sure that everything is constant, the volume is not loud somewhere, and then just make sure everything was sounding well, because I will always love my kick to always be punchy and constant. So then back to the low. This was what I did on the lower kick. This is the main record, like just the original record. Then this is how it sounds. Okay, so then with the F6, and this here I use the CLA3 to kind of like do like peak reduction, because it was a bit loud and noisy, and I never wanted to have like the sound clipping, so this was the sound. So now the two kick, the 4K kick, and then the normal low. So there was a lot of bleed, but I'll show you how I did. So for the kick, what I did was to kind of use my gate to control a lot of bleeds here. So most time you have to trick it the way you want it, the way it sounds, and then when it's sounding well for you, so you leave it there. So for me, remember, I always love to pay attention while I'm mixing. So back to my snare drum, and the snare drum I did a lot of work on the snare drum, because the snare was really hell, The snare was not really sounding well. The recording was not recorded properly. So another problem is when your recording was not recorded properly, you always have issues, So this is the snare drum. This was like the original snare drum. It was very bad. So then imagine from this to this. Okay, so let me take you through the process. So first of all, what I did was to use the slate trigger, and then this is the free version actually. So I used the slate trigger to kind of like I used the snare drum if sample from the sample this thing. So the snare 11 Z1 mic, this one. So I used it. Then the second snare I used to, this one was kind of the wider snare that was having like the ambience kind of thing. So I just added two of them, and then I controlled like the volume. I make sure the one was at the top, one was down, and then I tuned the snare drum. That's the advantage of having all these slate triggers, to help you a lot. So yeah, so this was it, and then this was how the kick was sounding. So I did something. I added like an FX channel I added a reverb from my FX channel, like that's the Pro EQ, to give it that ambience. I didn't do much. 3.83 seconds. That's the decay, the space listen. So, and then the decay level was around 138%, and the stereo white was 70%. The mix level was 100% because I was controlling it. I was controlling the send level. So that's also for the snare drum. So you hear how it sounds, very great. So I still use like another snare drum. I duplicated everything. Like I wanted it to sound very heavy and it should kind of have a difference. So I now added okay. So let me just show you what I did here on the next thing. So I kind of tweak around with the F6 EQ. I reduce a lot of frequency I don't like. So another thing is to know how to treat your snare, like any of the frequency you're getting, you have to treat it and always be able to identify bad frequency. Then I use the CLA 76 to control. I always like using this CLA 76 compressor to always control my level, because I feel like it is giving me the perfect levels I need. So then I used the Talk Live. So the Talk Live, I was kind of like controlling how like the peak level. So that was basically what I did here. So, and then the API 550 equalizer. So this was where I did a lot of tweaking here. So first of all, you have to tweak everything till it sounds like the way you want it to sound, So I did merge on the frequency because I needed a bite on the snare drum as well, and then I reduced like the low mid frequency, and then left the low frequency the way it was. So I didn't do much on the low frequency. So, and then that was all for the snare drum. And then there's this plugin I love from the same Smack. The Smack is a Smack Attack stereo from the Wave plugin. So I did like added like sensitivity, kind of control a lot of things here just to hold the frequency, just to hold everything. I don't like the snare drum so scattered. So yeah, so that was it. And then I added a CLS 76 too, because after you have done all those increasing and the rest, you have to decrease, like reduce the levels of everything. So that was it. And then there was a space in which I used this a separate snare drum. The drummer was kind of having like a brush kind of sample, so that was where I added this. That's why I added this other the second half. The third snare drum, yeah, this one here. So this was how it sounded. So first of all, I kind of like control the the EQs here, like control the frequency. You see, I've done a lot of work here controlling bad frequency. I have to drop a lot of bad frequency because it was really not sounding the way I want it. So then I didn't use this API equalizer. So I used the gate to control to like hold a lot of bleed and the rest. So yeah, but it was really not something serious. So from there I now added a trigger, and then I replaced the sample, to this. So this was louder than the other one. Was louder than this. So it was having like a close sound, and then if like a far distant kind of snare drum. So yeah, then my hi-hat, I didn't do anything serious to it. Like I just kind of like compress everything and then use the EQ to cut the low frequency, because I don't like low frequency on my hi-hat at all. It gives it that noisy. It makes it noisy, most especially if there's a lot of bleed on the mic. So that was it. And so now let's just play the drums. Let's just play the drums, just the drums. So basically that was it. And the toms, I didn't do much on the toms. So my tom 1, I used the F6 EQ to cut off the low frequency from here, and then that was like doing away with bad frequency. And then I kind of control from 500 to 1K. I controlled up the frequencies there. So I think most importantly, if you are mixing your instrument, you have to always pay attention to the bad frequency. There are frequencies that are not supposed to follow some of the instrument, most especially when it's live. So, and followed by this second the SSL channel. So here I use the rack tom preset, but I kind of tweaked everything to sound the way I wanted it to sound, to have that live feel. So then next was my second tom, which was tom 2. I didn't do much on it. I just added like the rack tom sample, and then I did a little bit chord on the mid frequency, like minus 9.9 decibels, and then I did a little chord of minus 11.9 on the low mid frequency. So, and then I added like the low frequency. I kind of like control this knob here. So that was all for the tom 2. And then tom 3, which was like my floor tom, I added the SSL channel, and then I added some lows. I wanted that depth from underground, from the floor tom. So I kind of like control the whole thing. I needed like that bite, so I added a high frequency bit, and I removed like almost minus 11.5 of low mid frequency. I'm always avoiding that low mid frequency sometimes, because that's where all these bleeds come from. So, and then there was a lot of treatment. If I show you my workstation, you'll see there was a lot of treatment on the floor tom. I kind of like did a lot of treatment on it. So yeah, so this is it, how it sounds, So that's how they sound. Like then next thing was my overheads. So this was my overhead. So first of all, I panned the overhead. One was on the left, one was on the right. So I didn't do anything because the overhead was already sounding the way it was, So so let me play everything together. So guys, that's it. And then let me take you to my keys, which is the keyboard. So on the keys, I didn't do much. So first of all, I added the F6 EQ. So I kind of like control the bad frequencies here. Like I don't like on some unwanted frequency. So I played the key, so actually I have to like know okay what I need and what I don't need, So that's it. And then the bass guitar. So the bass guitar, I added the F6 stereo EQ, the F6 EQ. So this was it, and I kind of like cut from 125, and then I had to cut from 32 as the low frequency side. So then I added like a byte from the 4K to 8K just to give it that byte, when there's a lot of instrument, you don't get to hear the bass, you only be hearing the low side of it. So I was kind of like wanting a bite on it. So then I added a CLA bass, and then I kind of like control my treble, compressor, the compressor button here, and then the sub button. So yeah, and the distortion, pitch, everything. So I was just trying to tweak everything to sound the way I wanted it to sound, to make everything sound well. Then the CLA here was controlling the peak reduction, as usual. I used the CLA2, CLA3, anyone. So as far as they are sounding the way you want it to be, that's the goal, So then the lead guitar, let me play the lead guitar. So the lead guitar was kind of like a bit noisy, so I had to like just take it down a bit, like around minus 12, minus 19.2 decibels. So yeah, and then there was like so I was kind of just controlling everything. And then the acoustic guitar. Now the acoustic guitar, this was what I did on the acoustic guitar. I kind of like sent everything to a bus channel. So this is the bus channel for acoustic guitar. So I didn't do anything much because the recording was recorded like for the acoustic guitar was recorded very well. So this was how it sounds. So What I did is I first of all compressed the guitar. Then after compressing it, then so minus 27, that's the threshold, minus 27.12 decibels, and then the ratio was on 2.2 ratio 1, and then this knee button, I don't touch this button at all, so there was like much attack and much release. You know, the mix this thing, the mix button was like on mixing up was on 100%. So that was all, and then I added the reverb, as usual, that reverb. So first, there's what I do most time. I just add like a reverb FX channel. So I create an FX channel whereby I will add that reverb. So that reverb is mostly like for my some of my instrument. I add it to my instrument just to keep that ambience going together. Like if you glue them together, I feel like it glues all my instrument together. So that's what I do most times. So that's basically like all I did for the instrument here. Then the remaining one I just like post production, I'll say I just like post production work. So the bell and the rest, I didn't add anything, so they already sounding well, so I just allowed them to be like that. So let's listen to the instrument now. And alright, so I forgot one thing. Always remember the ambience part. From me, my ambience part bundle, I used it here too as well. So don't forget, if you want to buy it, just check the description and then let me know. And there's every requirement there for you to get it. So yo guys, thank you so much for watching, and this is how I mix my instrument, and I believe this can actually help you out there to mix your instrument the same way. You can follow like the same procedure. If in case you do like live recording, you can follow the same procedure and do better than what I'm doing. It's all about experimenting and checking how it's going to work well. So thank you so much, and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, and do well to click on the notification bell to notify you whenever I post a new video. Thank you so much.